Carol?
None.
Anyone online?
We have no members of the public online.
Okay. Hi.
Greetings.
All right. Discussion items. We have the 27 water cell projections. Who would like to do?
Hi, my item. Thank you.
Mhm.
And good afternoon, everyone.
Good
Thank,
afternoon.
thank you for joining. Our first item on the agenda today will review our projected sales. That will be a very important integral part of building our budget for the next year. So we looked at where we are this year on the sales. Actually, my current projection went up a little bit, looking at the February actual water sales. So on this graph right now, you're seeing that we are projecting to be at 10,620 acre-feet, which is a little bit below of budgeted sales. We budgeted for 11,000 acre-feet for this year, but we are recovering well. February number came in, and I think will be 10,750 acre-feet of water sales in this year, so about 2% below of the budgeted number, and it's just due to a little more rain than expected, so it's normal fluctuation. I did some modeling, and I propose that we budget 10,750 acre-feet of water sales for next fiscal year. So that will, because that's the project number for this year, and we projected 11,000, but we're coming in a little bit lower. So I think just to be right on point for next year, to be safe, because we don't want to overestimate, put too high number on water sales. That means we can spend more, because we will think that our revenues will be high, and just to be on more conservative side, so we'll lower down. Well, most important is to know how's weather is going to be next year. It just gives us such a it gives us a very big swing, because over 60% of our water sales is from ag. So anytime there's a dry year, we had last year was pretty good. It was 12,900, and the year before that we had a wet year. It was 9,900 acre-feet water sales. So you can see the swing is like 3,000 acre-feet, just depending on the weather. And that we usually get affected in the winter months. So as we right now in March, kind of past those rainy days, we can estimate better where we're going to be this year. Yeah. And by summer, we recover. We'll sell more during the summer months. So with your approval, we'll go with 10,750.
Just for clarification, the 10,620, that's actual sales as of what day?
Oh, it's projected for total of this year
Oh.
by end of June 30th. We're on a fiscal year
Okay.
basis,
That's
Yeah.
projection. Okay.
and we are projecting.
There's a combination usage and per footing.
And it was budgeted for 11,000 for this year. So we'll come in a little bit under.
So the next year for 26, 27, you're asking that we recommend moving with the 10,750.
That's correct. And for every 1,000 of acre-feet that we don't sell, it's about $1 million loss in revenue that we need to recover somewhere.
For every 1,000.
For every 1,000, it's about $1 million. So it's important to be on point, and but that's why we have mid-year budget adjustments as well. So if we'll see that we're coming in lower, we would be looking into some savings on operation side or on CIP.
Lisa, would you mind turning on your mic, please?
Are these hot all the time or do they go on and off?
They can go on.
How do
You
we do
push the
that?
button. Okay. I'm
Yeah,
good with that.
10,750.
Director Hamilton,
Yeah,
I mean,
that's fine.
just projecting it.
It's the
Okay,
best swagger that we can come up with.
I'd rather be cautious than
Mm-hmm.
overly optimistic, yeah. All right, B, request for proposals for independent audit services.
Yes. So this is a standard, it's best practices in accounting to switch your auditors every 5 years. There is no rule of changing a firm. You could still stay with the same firm, but switch a partner, or engaging partner. So what I'm suggesting, we'll issue an RFP and just collect more auditors' inputs and select the best one. So
Are we happy with the current auditors,
uh
more or less?
so
Let's do the RFP.
Yeah, we're
Do
looking
it
for a
3
new
or
firm.
4.
So
Yeah.
that was some scheduling issues and their availability. They're a very large company. They had a good team, but they would not give us the time that was scheduled. Like I wanted to do final field work in September, but then they would just we submit everything and then it takes 2 months for them to get back
Mhm.
to us. And I think because they had scheduling issues, they're taking on other clients at the same time. And I think that
It's reasonable.
they're a very large firm and we could find somebody mid-tier or smaller firm. They tend to give more time and availability.
So this is just for audit services.
Just for external audit services. And they also help us to prepare ACFR book, the one that we submit with the audited financial statements on the annual basis.
Is this for June and July? When
Um,
do you do this?
Preliminary work we do in May and then the final field work in September.
Mm.
hmm
So
but-
when would you need their services?
May.
We would want them to start in May.
May. Okay.
Preliminary,
You gotta do this.
quick.
now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Next month, we will decide who we go with.
Okay. You need permission from the board to do that?
We'll let the board know that we're changing auditors and who we go with.
Okay.
We'll collect the proposals and
All depends on how much it is.
Yeah, I believe the item today is, this is informational. We are going out with an RFP to select a new firm. And then it'll come back to the board.
Okay.
Once that firm's selected.
Okay.
thank you. That's correct. They will be also doing a single audit for us. Like, for example, if we'll get a grant and then we need additional single audit. So there's something will be all part of the package that we'll be looking at when they submit their RFP.
Okay. Will we get a couple options?
I mean, it depends on
Yeah.
how many proposals we receive. Typically, staff reviews the proposals and then presents their findings to the board with a recommendation.
But we can provide who applied and the option that we would like to go with.
Okay.
Rationale for selecting. You don't necessarily have to go
Pros
to the
and cons.
lowest bidder.
Correct.
Yeah, we don't have to.
Services provided.
And we'll still allow the current auditor to place their bid as
Mhm.
well.
Okay.
That was something that was covered in the 287 training class, by the way,
Mm.
this particular area.
Well, I'm doing that June 17th. All right, monthly finance packet.
Right, we're just going through them, through all the items today quickly. As of January, this is the January monthly financials. We have water sales came in at 7,489 acre feet. And for the month of January, that would be about 4% under budget.
Yeah.
So it's still good. We could be on target for this year.
Mhm.
See how we'll recover in spring and some summer months. On the operating revenues, we came in at 30.9 million, which is 9% below the budget, and that has to do with less water purchases. Of course, since we selling less and buying less, so see, and then operating expenses were 20.2 million, which is 16% below the budget amount. Has to do with lower water sales as well. And then overall, when I looked at the departmental budgets, they're all coming in on point for 7 months of the year. So we would want to be at about 68% spent, and that's about an average for each department. So I didn't see anything that really stands out on the operation side. We're trying to be very on point with the budgeted amounts. And on the wastewater side, we did have City of Oceanside invoices that came in a little higher than originally estimated. And that's why we did the pass-through rate adjustment on the wastewater that came through in the month of February. And
Are we still catching up with Oceanside of our underpayment?
no, we're done with that. We paid everything to them, and that was in June of 2025.
So is this random above budget?
On the wastewater side, correct, random above
We don't
budget.
know. It's just random. Like we don't have a fixed amount that we pay.
We have, but when the City of Oceanside provide their budgeted numbers, how much they're going to charge us, those are estimates, and then they do a use audit. They looked at actually how much flow we sent to them, and then they adjust. But during the budget season, in like April, May, that's when we place our budget. They don't have actual numbers for the year yet, and they would just give us the preliminary numbers.
I think
And-
Jake had mentioned that
And
that we're higher than what they thought we were
our
using.
actual flows were higher than what they use for their estimate. And when they issue the actual invoice, that's what the actual invoice is
So this is
higher.
what we're seeing now. The
Yes.
actual numbers of over using what they
Right.
above what they thought we were
Correct.
going to use.
But we are expecting that the flow will reduce, though, the one that we're sending to them, because that was an issue on the metering side.
Mm.
And we believe that we didn't actually send them that much flow on the wastewater. So that's why we're expecting that this expense
What
will.
we send them
We are metering, yes.
independently of what
Oh, they rely on our meter,
they rely on their.
I believe, yes.
Are they on a calendar year or a fiscal year?
Same, they're on a fiscal year.
Same fiscal
Mhm,
year.
mhm.
I was just wondering why we're working off estimates versus.
We are growing. I mean,
Oh,
our
that's-
development and stuff. So
Yeah.
yeah, so I can see why it would be higher, but so you think we'd get some of this
So we,
back?
yes, the way wastewater treatment works, how they invoice is that they first have to estimate how much flow we're going to send to them next year, and based on that estimate, they would project and create an invoices, and then they do use audit, and they adjust it at the end of the year. So usually we'll get adjustment invoice in July,
Okay.
and then it will be either a credit or an extra charge based on the actual flows.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's to answer your question. They first estimate once they place the budget. They work off estimates, and they're trying to predict what our flow is going to be, how thick the flow is, how much treatment they need to do. So all of that they're trying to predict, and then or how diluted the flow is. Then it's easier to treat, then they would have to spend less money on the chemicals.
Mhm.
Yeah. So they look at on the biosolids and all the the flow that you're sending to them. Mhm.
Interesting.
So the less liquid flow, the more thick flow, then it's more costly, it's more expensive to treat. And that's been kind of a trend lately, for the last 5 to 10 years, especially with people switching to the low flow shower heads or low flow flush toilets. Then you would be sending more solid and less liquid. Then the treatment, it becomes more expensive, but it does save water.
There's problems
Yeah.
on the other end.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah, I worked at the SOCWA, South Orange County Wastewater Authority.
So you know a lot about
so
this.
I know a lot about wastewater and about the use audit. And yeah,
So hopefully we're gonna get a credit.
hopefully we'll get a credit. So we heard that it was just a miscalculation of the flow of our meter.
Okay.
We replaced the meter and it does read less. So that's what I know. That's what I heard from, yeah.
Okay.
Mhm. Let's see, next, our treasury report. You'll see the dip on January. We are at 20.4 million, and this is our unrestricted reserves. The reason for the dip is because we made our exit fee payment on a loan. The one that we financed to exit San Diego County Water Authority. So that payment was 1.7 million. That includes principal and interest. So we made those payments in January. This was our first payment of a principal. And so that's why you'll see that dip. But overall, we do have a nice steady recovery of our reserves. And we still didn't meet the target where we would feel safe. So in case of emergencies or lower water sales, that's where we would need to dip into our reserves instead of doing a shock rate increase to all of our customers to make up for the revenue. So that's what the rebuilding of the reserves is very important. And then monthly call volume, it's been steady and kind of decreasing. We don't see any spikes or too many customer complaints. And I spoke with Josh and he's pretty happy. It's like, yeah,
That's a good.
no
Even
issues.
Specifics, just
Mhm.
that it's
No issues there.
not a lot of complaints and.
Yeah, it was little spike in January, you'll see on the graph, and that's primarily people calling to find out if has been a new change in the rates. Yeah.
Mhm.
on the bus. That's all. And if you have any questions,
I'll make one comment on calls. We lost the water in our area. And I called the emergency number and no one ever picked up after 7 or 8 minutes.
oh no,
You lost your water. Where was that?
Uh,
Like the water
all of a
just
sudden-
turned off?
The whole area. we
The
lost
whole
water.
area.
There was
A line break or something.
no, it wasn't a line break. I think it was operator error, but Jake's been kind of close about what happened there, but I think it had to do with the pumps. It was on the holiday Monday, whatever the holiday was.
Right.
So I don't live there, but I started getting calls from neighbors. There was no water pressure. And it was resolved, but interesting. I had Jake's cell phone number, so I ended up having to call him. But the system didn't pick up. Now, clearly Rainbow was already responding, so I don't know how they got the word, but when I did call the system, and I don't know how many that's tracked separately, the after hours or emergency
Yeah.
call, yeah.
Can you let me know maybe after this meeting what number?
Yeah,
to call?
Oh, the one on the, well, you call the one number, there's only one number to call, and then if it's after hours.
Was it at night? I mean, you
No,
called
it was
after
during-
hours.
It was a holiday, it was Monday.
And no one
One of
was
the
working.
holidays.
So
Yeah.
can you leave a voicemail? Is that what you did? I don't know.
No, it didn't pick up.
So we have
Oh.
an answering service that'll pick up.
I just kept,
And
I was put on hold and.
By the answering service?
I'll have to think.
Well,
about
that's what
it.
he said.
Yeah, there's how it's supposed to work and then how
They
it
never
actually
came
worked
back.
that day. Because there was such urgency being expressed by my neighbors, and I'm thinking the fire hydrant in front of my grove maybe got hit by a car. And I'm down in San Diego. I ended up just calling Jake.
Yeah.
And Jake was in touch with staff. And
Yeah, but the point is like you called and that's a problem. And so we'll find out.
yeah, I don't know what happened. I can give you
Why?
It was the morning of the 11th, so. But
Is that Martin Luther King Day?
Yeah, it was one of the.
Or President's Day.
Oh,
It's President's Day.
and the SCADA system will automatically alert operators, so if it was a valve shut off or something like that, they may have already been on it.
Yeah, I asked for detail because Rainbow staff ended up driving through my grove, cutting chain on my west side. It was
Wow.
chaotic, and that's never. I just need the chain replaced.
What month are you referring to?
Last month,
The 11th of
February 11th.
was it whatever the Monday?
That's a Wednesday.
Well, it was the Monday holiday. Maybe it was
Oh.
January,
It was President's Day, wasn't it?
whatever.
Okay, President's Day was Monday, February 16th.
February 6th.
Okay, that was the Monday. I'm just saying, I just brought it up, how, if those emergency calls after hour calls are tracked
They are.
separately.
That's right.
But the general manager is aware of all this. I emailed him, called him, talked to him, he followed up with an email, asked for additional detail, because I was really concerned about.
And he hadn't heard that the water had been.
He never got back to me. Oh, he was aware that there was an issue. They were looking for a break.
Hmm.
Turned out not to be a break. I'm speculating here because I didn't get my questions answered, but I think it was a problem with the pumps. The new pumping wasn't keeping up with demand. At the same time, the gopher tank is got a big hole cut in the side, so there's no water in there. So everything was, the pressure was needed.
I would prefer to let staff look into this rather than speculate on
Sure.
operator error or pumps
Whatever.
malfunctioning. We will absolutely look into this and get back.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Okay. Constantine, do you have anything else?
That's all, unless you have any additional questions or specific questions on the January financials.
So wastewater is 7 million, we're at. The adopted budget is 8 million on that chart. The actual,
Page.
oh, that was 2000, yeah, this. On page 12. You know where it's in green,
Mm-hmm.
so we're good. You were saying we're over budget on that.
On this page 12. See wastewater.
12, the very bottom, wastewater. We're at 7, the actual
7.2.
7, adopted is 8, but that doesn't give us a lot of room. Like we'll
Oh.
for sure be over.
8.9 adopt budget. This is for the net revenue for the whole year.
Yeah,
Yeah, and then we are at 7.2 as
Right.
of January. That's
that doesn't give us a lot of room till. You're saying we're gonna be over that.
that's a net revenue. That's how much we actually
Yeah, 5 months.
money coming in. And
So won't we be
This is
over?
annual, this is run rate.
I know.
So
Okay,
no, it's where we want to be exactly. It's just the net revenue of how much money coming in out of the whole budget for the year. For water purchases and sales, you would want to be at 72% as of January.
mm-hmm,
And then you can see it's at 81. After that, after January, water sales slow down, so we will still can hit the target of 8.9.
oh, these are sales, okay,
Yeah. And if your question was on the wastewater,
yeah,
so on the wastewater, we have net operating gain so of 943,000, which is and out of the whole budget at 1.3 million. So We're still in a good target for that because we adjusted our rates on the wastewater. So we'll be able to
Hit the eight.
regain, correct.
Okay.
This 8, it includes water and wastewater.
Mm,
Yeah. So the wastewater is in the purple line.
okay.
The one,
Oh.
the one line before that.
Okay. Oh, this is wastewater and wastewater.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
And then when you look at what is being offset is by
Oh.
non-operating revenue. So you have operating from all the monthly charges that we collect. They're being offset by non-operating revenue, which is a loan that we have to pay. So we're paying 1,070,000 for in 1 year of non-operating expenses on the wastewater. So there was one loan that we have.
Okay.
And that loan was for Thoroughbred lift station.
These charts are a little confusing even for me, but,
The first time.
well, no, I've looked at them before.
No, me first time.
Okay.
Hmm.
Constantly, the thing that makes it a little difficult for us is that you're showing in the first bar column, the actual run rate. In other words, the first yellow bar vertical is revenue to date.
Yeah.
And you're comparing it against the budget for the year,
The full.
which is basically saying we're at 81% of budget.
Yes.
But that really doesn't tell you very easily whether you're ahead or behind,
Mhm.
because you need to compare against current run rate. In other words, we had in wastewater $409,275 dollars in revenue to date. What was the forecast for that point in time versus comparing it out to where we need to be? I mean, that where we need to be is good because it tells us how much we've got to bring in over the next period of time. But it doesn't really tell us whether we're above the curve or below the curve very well.
Right. I can add the column where it would show where.
I think that would be helpful. That's what I struggled with in looking at these charts is,
Oh.
okay,
All that.
am I ahead or behind on my budget?
Mhm. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Oh,
Do I need to be concerned or
Or not.
not?
there's a note that I added on the bottom. You would want to be at 72% of annual budget as of January
And
for water purchases and sales. That's our run rate. And if you're at 81, so
yeah,
We're good.
you're
You're
good,
good,
better
but-
than the budget, but I can add the column so that,
it makes it a lot easier to just go, yeah, right here.
okay,
Okay.
yes.
Smiley face, sad face. We have symbols.
Yeah, that works too.
Yeah, and on a fixed,
Right here, thumbs up, thumbs down.
you would want to be at 58%.
Percent.
This basically just 7 months dividing by 12.
Okay.
And that's what for wastewater, because we're charging the same rate whole year. So
Year,
you,
okay.
on a wastewater, you want to be at 58%, and we are
62.
62 on net operating revenue and 69% on operating revenue. and
Net
61
operating, yeah.
non-operating. So a little bit above the target, and this is good on the wastewater side. And then when you're looking at the bottom line, it's
The other way you could indicate whether we're ahead or below is if we're behind, put it in red and black if we're in the plus.
okay.
Rather than adding another column to confuse us all, but it is easier for me to look at where am I today?
Okay.
Okay.
So versus adding more columns, that's what I wanted to reduce amount of columns so it'd be
Right.
like cleaner presentation, where I can highlight the ones that if we're running behind,
If we're behind or ahead, so indicate that somehow.
okay, over a certain threshold.
Yeah.
Like if we, okay. Can do that.
Cool.
Thank you for that feedback. I'll for sure incorporate that.
Yeah, my eyes started rolling back in my head this morning. It's too early to be thinking about all that.
Mm.
Are you still going over stuff? Is that it?
I'm done.
Oh,
Mhm.
thank you for coming. Do you have anything to add? Hi, Dwayne. Hey. What you got?
Well, I have to give Rick, oops, am I on?
There you
Yeah,
go.
I am.
There you
Sorry
go.
about
We
that.
can hear you.
Rick carries some credit. He has done an enormous amount of work on comparing particular side by side Rainbow and FPUD costs, particularly related to the ag water aspect. And frankly, I knew I was running way high after the detachment, but this documents what has been going on, and Rainbow compared to FPUD is just stratospheric. I mean, the fixed charges are double what FPUD is running. The variable rate is almost 50% higher, 40% higher. And this is killing agriculture. I mean, I've been telling this to the board now for almost a year and a half since the detachment that you got a problem. And it was all related to that rate study back, prior to the detachment that just jacked up the fixed cost by meter size and jacked up usage rates as well. And it's particularly disconcerting to go in front of LAFCO and the Board of Supervisors and those people, telling them that they need to support this detachment because agriculture is at risk. And then to come back and have your own district putting you more at risk. Jake said that this was predominantly due to the PSAR change because a lot of the bigger, larger, medium to larger ag user were on PSAR. And like I was one of them. And I mean, you can't sustain, you may be able to have, there may be some kind of crop out there, but it's not avocados, which is again, probably still a pretty fairly, or at least used to be a pretty substantial crop in this area. And these rates are absolutely unsustainable. And unfortunately, I hear commentary and sometimes by Jake and like, well, there's people taking cash for crop as some indication that everything's okay. I'm going to tell you as a professional second generation farmer that they're going to find out in 3 years or 4 years that their investment and so forth was a waste of time because they're not going to be profitable. So these rates have to be adjusted. I would like to see a review of the 2 years prior to the detachment to see where we were at so that you have a true comparison of how much things were jacked up. And we need to do something about it because you're going to end up compounding your ag water sales are going to continue to decrease, which means by default, your residential users are going to go up. So it's a lose-lose situation. And we can't kick this down the road any further and just see more groves going on. People that don't invest in these type of, agriculture don't understand. It's a 5-year capital investment before you get a crop. Okay. So once you turn that off, the idea that somebody's going to, unless they're quite young and maybe energetic or rich, one or the other, really rich, they're just not going to put the money back into it again. I mean, and the problem, like I said, for even the cash for crop, they're going to find out in 3 years they just wasted their time and energy, or 4 years and all, and you're going to be back in the same situation. So this needs to be fixed structurally, and it needs to be, I think, fixed retroactively, because this was just a incredibly big mistake on Rainbow's part. And when you have the evidence of FPUD, which is still significant from an agricultural standpoint, and I compliment Rick again because this 218 stuff drives me bat crazy. okay? You can't operate a business in fear of litigation, okay? You support your findings, you make your business decision based on what makes it sense for the district, and you support that. And you don't sit there running your agriculture out of business, hurting your water sales because of fear of litigation. I mean, with all the problems we got in the state of California, you really think they're going to pick on Rainbow's little, alleged non-compliance? It's just a red herring. And I don't want to hear that anymore because it's the wrong way to operate and approach, problem solving. We need to take the agricultural thing, we need to take it head on. I know Constantine is willing to put in the time and effort to get this resolved. And in closing, there's one other thing that, again, this is probably pie in the sky, but I'll throw it out there anyway. There was a SALT study, I think it was SALT, Rick, correct me if I'm wrong, that was done by the County of San Diego. They hired a consultant, paid him a fair amount of money to find out what they could do in the County of San Diego to help save and promote agriculture, okay? And they did quite a bit of analysis as to the value add that agriculture adds to the whole county, much less this area. And it's significant, okay? What it didn't have from my standpoint is, okay, what are maybe some real options for the county other than studying it to actually help agriculture? And it occurred to me, if they were figuring out some way that they were going to help out economically, that one of the ways that they could help out would be to reimburse the water districts for the detachment fee or a portion thereof to give you more flexibility. And these are things that I think need, from a political standpoint, to be pushed and the like. And, Rick and I can show up at hearings and other farmers, but we don't have the same gravitas as the board members and the district at large. So again, I'm assuming they did the study because they were wanting to study what the problem was and why their agriculture is declining and what they could do to reverse that. And, not that they want to spend money on this, but if they want to sustain agriculture and help the water districts sell more water to help everybody financially, lower rates, get more revenue into the district, then maybe they have some pot of money somewhere that they can consider putting forward to that.
Blaine? Relative to your issue about redistribution of the detachment fee?
Yeah.
Where does that money come from?
Well, you're talking in terms of
If we were to propose it, I mean, the reason I ask is because the detachment fee did not go to LAFCO. It went to the San Diego Water Authority.
Well, I understand. So, but your district, you're paying that detachment fee, right? This district and FPUD.
Right.
What I'm suggesting, and maybe it's a wild suggestion, okay? But if the county itself is concerned about maintaining agriculture and is looking to have, I read the report, I didn't see anything tangible to say other than, hey, ag's in trouble and we need to do something. Well, that's at least something tangible. They may not, I don't know all the pots of revenues and monies or what they can petition the federal government for as a county or Sacramento and the like. I'm just saying that is a big burden on all of these districts. And that burden is being shared by agriculture disproportionately. And I can't guarantee success, but if you don't ask, I can guarantee failure.
True.
At the very beginning of you talking, you said something about salt.
I think that was the name of the study. I could be, Rick might know better.
So San Diego Board of Supervisors commissioned the SALT 1.0 and then it became SALT 2.0 to look at, trying to save ag. It was run through LAFCO because one of LAFCO's charters is to support ag. And near as I can tell, about $500,000 was spent and consultants got most of it.
And they did what?
They produced this
The
report, but it's, you know,
Is that four color?
it's pretty worthless. It says, you know, sell direct, yeah, a lot of things that just aren't practical. And this was with input from me, Eddie Grangetto, quite a few other growers that met with the Farm Bureau supervisors. Hey, this thing's off track. Let's just end it. And it morphed into something. A lot of consultants were hired and paid significant dollars. It's about $500,000. And it's wasn't helpful, unfortunately. So that was,
Produce anything.
didn't produce anything useful.
Yeah.
But your pie in the sky is they, the county of San Diego, ask the federal government if you want to save ag to get,
No,
No.
no?
no, they just studied the problem
The prep,
at the county.
there's been California Avocado Commission of others have done studies to show the value of ag to North County, Escondido. There's quite a bit on the websites. But I think what Dwayne's asking is particularly brought up the settlement fee, the 25 million, you know, to go back to the, because the county board of supervisors, or they did at one point, there's been a change of seats there, you know, was an advocate, Jim Desmond in particular, trying to support ag. Whether they're willing to throw money at that besides this, you know, money for a study, which again, we objected to very early on. It didn't translate into anything benefit. It didn't stabilize rates. It didn't address 218. You know, can we
It basically confirmed we have a problem.
218?
Yes.
Can we get 218 amended
Houston,
to
we
give
have a
us some
problem.
room for agriculture? So it was very frustrating, and it was a multi-year effort. And we went to meetings.
And it came through LAFCO, so we could probably go to the LAFCO website and pull it up.
I'll get it for you. Yeah, it was County Board of Supervisor Commission, but it was LAFCO.
If it's a LAFCO report, it'll be
Yeah.
in the LAFCO.
Yeah, it's called SALC 2.0 was the final iteration.
SALC.
Yeah, so that's the SALC. It sounded like
Not salt.
salt.
So Rick, we met with Rick today for an hour, so I hear you, what we talked
Good.
about. So Rick, you can fill Dwayne in.
Just
But-
clarification, I'll talk to Dwayne later,
After,
but I
yeah.
think you're in both you're growing in two different grows, both FPUD and Rainbow.
Okay.
And the other thing I wanted to clarify, the cash for crop, you're talking about crop swap,
Crop swap,
not,
sorry.
not the drug trade.
No,
And here's an interesting thing.
although unless you're in Mexico, in which
Yeah.
case
Cash.
it takes a different connotation.
No crop swap. Crop swap's been mentioned here over a number of months, how many applicants there were. I sat with the program manager for crop swap, who lives here in Escondido. At the time, Fallbrook was less than 75% compliant. And overall of the 5 water districts that are in it, about 50% compliance. So part of the crop swap money is all going back into the pot. Those people are, according to Lance, we're going to forfeit everything.
Mhm.
So even crop swap, I think Dwayne's point is, and crop swap's been watered down from its original intent was to try and take it was going to sell more water. A lot of it, these practices that are in there now conserve more water, which really doesn't help the district. But there's just a lot of challenges. And I think I think that's where the extra $1 million came from. I haven't seen a crop swap presentation at the board level in quite some time, but I have I let Jake know this information.
Yeah,
you know.
Amanda gives those at the communications
Oh.
and customer service.
Okay, yeah, I've seen them at board meetings. I've never really attended communication.
Well, they
Yeah.
So
fed onto the board out of.
She
committee.
presents the same presentation to the board.
Did either of you attend the Fallbrook, or I don't know if it was just Fallbrook, there was an ag meeting last week?
Yes, as a matter of fact, all of us, I think.
I did not. I saw,
sorry.
I was surprised. I found out about it from Fallbrook, not from Rainbow, so I missed that on the communication piece. But this is the one that Jake went to as well.
Yeah.
Was that the one in Fallbrook?
Yeah, it
Yes.
was RSVP. I think there were 60 people. Someone from Fallbrook let me know about it, but it looked like correct me if I'm wrong, it looked very elementary.
Mm.
Kind of a mom and pop
I didn't
thing.
know.
Maybe not calibrated for commercial growers, but I didn't attend, so I can't comment.
Rick's description is good. I mean, it was more for the, I would call them hobby farmers, you know, and I don't mean that in a derogatory
Yeah.
sense because I respect all farmers. It requires work and effort and money. But more the 2 acre, 1 to 2 acre type folks that were probably looking at either trying to figure out what to do with their existing farm operation, or if they're looking to plant new, you know, what they could do and expect and the like. I mean, I didn't want to say anything, but when they put up the 2 PowerPoints between Ballbrook and Rainbow and the difference in the fixed charge was there, I didn't want to make a big deal of it, you know, in front of a audience with, you know, Jake and Jack there. But it was pretty obvious the differential, you know, at that meeting. And I don't know how many people picked up on that, but I certainly saw it and the like. So again, just to kind of help conclude, it's just, Rick has been involved in some of these. We've been reaching out to the Commerce Department, the U.S. Trade Representative, I mean, across the board, you know, USMCA and so forth. And we've been principally reaching out as individuals, okay, farmers, but individuals. And so, you know, my suggestion is, and thought process, and again, part of it is just from the feedback that you get from some of the folks that we've been talking. One of the things that, you know, like the Chamber of Commerce, I mean, the Commerce Department said, okay, how many people do you represent?
First question they all ask.
Thank you. Well, Rainbow represents a lot of people, a lot of growers and so forth. I suspect that Rainbow itself would have the ability, even though it should be done by the California Avocado Commission, and that's another sore subject, but I won't go there. But Rainbow needs to, I think, exploit more its leverage as a, at least in this area, a major entity to use and exert some of its political influence, I think, because I think that has more weight in terms of some of these folks than just a few growers that are trying to get things, you know, squared away. Because the question, like for the Commerce Department, okay, we understand the problem. Okay, seems legit. How many other people share? Well, I mean, we we
Speak
can't.
to the others.
No, but Rainbow collectively, I mean, I think could potentially,
Wouldn't a coalition be better?
yes.
I mean, if you want to move in politics, anything in the political picture, the first question you get asked is, who do you represent and how many people is that? You know, and me, myself, and I doesn't carry any water.
Nope.
So the question is you have organizations like the Farm Bureau or maybe the avocado growers. But if I look at it, you've got the growers here, and there's a ripple effect down in terms of the economy. So you've got your suppliers, you've got your labor forces. If you got all of those together in a coalition, then you've got an opportunity, and we're a supplier, so we'd be a member from perspective. But then you've got the leverage of, I represent an economic community of tens of thousands, and that will get the attention of the political entity you're talking to. You know, I don't know that it's Rainbow's job to try to organize that. I think you need to go higher. I think you need to start at your level with Farm Bureau or Avocado Commission and form a team to go build that coalition.
Well, yes and no. Okay. I'll respectfully disagree.
Okay.
Um,
I'm-
if there's approximately 1,700 avocado growers, plus or minus, according to CAC, I'm thinking 300-400 wouldn't be unrealistic to be in the Rainbow Water District. And if push comes to shove, maybe we need to get our affiliate, FPUD, which should be doing the same thing. And if you got 25% of the growers effectively, and they're not going to go out and audit this. They told us that right up front. But you have to be at least credibly representative, okay? And so, I mean, you certainly should know who are your ag water users. FPUD could probably calculate that out as well. And as far as them going and investigating dumping and other issues on the trade front, 25% does it for them. As a matter of fact, they told us, frankly, it doesn't have to be exactly 25%. It can be it just needs to be substantive. Exactly.
25% of the volume is what the feds want.
Yeah.
You know that, but let me just add here, there is a large grower, Robert Jackson. He's an attorney. He sits on the California Avocado Commission. He lives here in San Diego, does not have a grove in Rainbow, but he had Lee Zeldin down here last week, visiting his farm in the Valley Center, one of his farms. So, you know, that's good at the federal level, but we need more momentum. There's only, in my world, there's only two solutions here that'll help Rainbow. One is to curtail imports, and that's going to take federal action.
Yeah.
But Rainbow could weigh in your lane, which is how Prop 218 constrains you in a district that's so
And we're already doing.
ag reliable.
Aqua is already working at the state level on trying to get some leeway on 218.
And that's good.
Because
And that needs,
it's hurting not only us, it's hurting
oh,
the
it's,
whole state water.
oh, yeah,
departments.
aware of that. And then the Farm Bureau is kind of, the Farm Bureau here has got, they wanted to divorce from Imperial County because there's some agencies that are getting 300 acre feet of water out of the Colorado River for free.
Yeah.
You know, we're not one of them, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But
Well,
so,
IID pays $26 an acre foot and charges San Diego $650.
Yeah. Well,
yeah, there's been lots of deals made, and hopefully we're going to divest. Well, not going to divest, but it looks like there's at least a discussion with San Diego County Water Authority to have someone pick up the tab, Metropolitan probably, for the desal plant, because that's $4,000 an acre foot water plus. 4,000 is cheap.
Yeah.
I mean, the water's physically not going to move. I'm guessing they're going to get reimbursed, which might bring rates down for the water authority, which, sorry, doesn't help us now that we're divorced. But yeah, the pressure's everywhere. But it would be nice to see. One of the problems we have is there's probably 3,000 avocado growers in the state. Only about 1,700 receive ballots. And it's not one ballot, one person. Some growers, depending on how many legal entities they have, receive multiple ballots. So, and that's a different problem, but to know that there's something to rally around, you know, to use Iran as the current example, you know, we've cut off the head, but, you know, we've got all these people that don't have a leadership to fall in behind and rally behind. And it would be nice if what's going on maybe behind the scenes with Aqua and a few others was communicated more clearly to give growers a chance, you know, a voice or to sign a petition. It's very difficult for us to reach out and even get people to come to these meetings. I'm pretty sure you're tired of me and Dwayne, but there are a couple more of us out there. But there is these other circles, but we just don't seem to quite get the gravity, the traction. And I realize that it's probably difficult for a district to weigh in, you know, politically. And I've asked that in the past to have, you know, sign on during the LAFCO effort. Look at the heavy lift we did to rally for LAFCO. We need almost that same level of effort now. I mean, the level for the separation, you know, via LAFCO. We need that level of effort now to try and get some meaningful rate reform in.
No, I think we had a good beginning today.
Yeah.
At least for me, it opened my eyes to a few different issues with the variable and the fixed. So,
And I didn't supply the data to whatever event was in Fallbrook. So
when Jake gets back, we'll talk more about it.
Aiden, I don't know if you've gotten it, but I'll send it to you.
No, I have a copy of them.
I did a head-to-head comparison
The
of,
whole board got copies.
volumetric rates, just looking at FPUD.
It was all the data that you sent
Okay.
to Jake and Lisa, I think.
Yeah, I sent it because Lisa's my rep.
Yeah, and
So-
it came
Okay.
to the rest
All
of the
right.
board.
And I think that's what you're referring to, you know. Because when it was sold, it was, the higher volumetric rate, it was all gonna work out. Well, it's still at very high volumes. We're still $1,000 a month, in the red. So, thanks.
Yeah,
Okay.
and it's, the report itself, again, I probably preach to the choir, but it was hired by the water district to prepare and for the benefit of the water district. And I got it. Higher rates, fixed rates, great for your cash flow. You don't have to maybe have as talented of a guy as Constantine to do all the work and the projections and so forth, because you have such high guaranteed rates. But you're putting your customers, your big customers that you need more than ever now, out of business. And that just is counterintuitive to me and all. And we talk about it, but we're not seeing reforms and relief. And it's got to go from verbiage to action, and sooner rather than later. I mean,
By the way, we are looking at the rate study in that part. And so we have consultants reviewed, right?
Yeah,
Reviewing all.
and I don't know if I'd use the last one that you used, because their study is what, as far as I'm concerned, put us in this pickle and the like. And it's just done a tremendous disservice to your ag customers. It was flawed on several levels when I read through it and so forth. And I think part of that is, in defending the board, it's hard for you all, if you're not farmers, to really know how it works. Okay. And so, we're here to help out, and we can get other people here as well when we need to, but we think we can
Same
pretty well
story. Yeah.
carry the message.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, we're gonna close it up here. Get these guys back to work. Thank you for coming. And we'll see you next meeting. She's so quiet.
No, we have no
Thank
clue of you calling on the 16th. Might not. be-
Learning,
Not
huh?
a 16th.
What was Monday, whatever.
That was February